Hi, Redeemer. Welcome to this week's FAQ. This week, I want to address the question of religious exemption for the vaccines. As many of you are hearing from your employers, they are beginning to mandate vaccines. Some of them are providing an option for testing, some of them are not, just making it mandatory and making your employment dependent on it. In the state of Iowa, there is a law that allows for religious exemption to vaccines. I'll share a link to that so you can read that on your own. And the question that I've received is that would I be willing to provide any kind of support in seeking that religious exemption? And the answer is yes, of course I would. So some employers make no avenue for that. They just have their own internal forms that they have you fill out. And some, I guess there's an opportunity for some kind of participation from the church or from a pastor. And if that's the case, I'd be more than willing to support you in that. I also have one contact that was shared with me of an attorney who has had some success pushing back on employers who have rejected religious exemption requests. So that's something I'd be glad to share with you as well. I did have so far just one person I know of in our church in Cedar Falls submit a request for religious exemption, and their HR department denied it. They didn't really give much reason. And so my encouragement to her was to go back to them with the code printed out and just kind of push back on the conversation. Like, according to the code, here's what's written out, here's what was provided, be more clear. So my suspicion is that this depending on the employer, this may go over quickly and easily, and in some places it won't. And to some extent, this is probably going to end up in the courts. So all that say is, if that's something that you feel like God has laid on your heart, that you have a religious exemption to the vaccine, I'd love to have that conversation with you and be a support to you, right? So feel free to reach out to me with any other questions, comments, resources, and be praying and glad to be a support to all of you through this. I know it's not fun, and there's a lot at stake. You know, your testimony, your livelihood in many ways, and I'm just praying that God provide a way, right? So bless you all. See you soon.